Do you want to develop your career in business analytics? Business analytics is the one of the fastest growing skill that is in demand across all the industries, and it has a huge potential if you are looking to develop your skill in this career. So, to discuss about the career scope in business analytics in various industries, we are going to have a beautiful and interesting discussion with our today's special guest, who is going to give us insights from the within the industry. So, I welcome Dr. Ramesh. Dr. Ramesh is a very interesting person, and he is a expert from business analytics industry. He started his career from veterinary medicine, and he turned his career into as a business analytics expert. And he also holds a PhD in biotechnology from Germany, and he is helping various businesses, and he is associated with various multinational companies and corporates, helping them to evaluate and uh, unveil the various business insights for their business growth. So I welcome you, Dr. Ramesh, to this special session. Uh, so,
Thank you,
uh,
Dr. Nitin.
yeah. So today, Dr. Ramesh, we are going to talk about your experience and your knowledge about this business analytics industry. And we would be like looking forward to understand the secrets of career growth in this particular skill set. So to begin with, Dr. Ramesh, can you just give us some background about like how did you like start from being a veterinary medicine expert specialist, and from there you have reached to your career in this business data analysis. So can you give us just a brief walking like how did you uh, carve your career in this segment?
Certainly, Dr. Nitin, it's a pleasure to be on this platform and kind of share my experiences with audience. Um, so, as you have already mentioned, I have started my career with veterinary medicine. In fact, um, in early of my career, I worked as a veterinarian for some time. Um, but then, I had some drive to learn more about how pharmaceutical industry works, drug development and stuff. Um, that is, that was one drive which motivated me to do masters in biotechnology. So I did masters in biotechnology from IIT Madras, and then that drive went on further. I decided to pursue a PhD in molecular medicine from Hannover Medical School in Germany. So these were like my initial academic career. In fact, after my PhD, I did brief stint of postdoc also. I did 1 year of postdoc. Um, and then I realized, all this knowledge we need to apply somewhere instead of being in completely academic context. So that is where I started my, consulting and analytics career. So Smart Analyst was my first company. Is currently based in Gurgaon. So I started from there, applying my subject matter knowledge, applying industry nuances into the context, and providing solutions for industry. Uh, Between I also did one course in business analytics from IIM Calcutta. That really helped me kind of, get deep understanding of what we are trying to achieve. Yeah, that has been quite a journey. After Smart Analyst, I moved on to WNS. I stayed there for nearly 7 years, I could say, uh, doing variety of works like competitive intelligence, data analysis, uh, developing really business consulting cases for top pharma companies. And currently, I'm working in JS Associates. This is another management consulting firm, quite reputed in the industry. And I lead medical affairs, wherein we use data analysis and subject matter expertise to drive business decisions and medical affairs decisions for pharma industry. Yeah, that's quickly about me.
Okay. Yeah, that's very nice to know, Dr. Ramesh, that you have worked in various managerial and leadership positions in this pharmaceutical analytics industry. And I'm sure that you must be having various insights to share with us. To begin with us, can you briefly tell us what is this business analytics or what this is skill or this career is? So can you explain us in short?
So I mean, this is you know, couple of years ago we used to say this is an emerging field, but it's not emerging actually. This is very well established field nowadays. Business analysis and analytics, data science, data analytics, they closely overlap, all of them, and essentially they require a couple of things to play together. One is very good understanding of data. Um, so when we say data in pharmaceutical industry, it could mean a lot of things. Like it could mean clinical data, all medical and scientific data coming out from the various research and clinical trials and stuff. It could also mean data coming from claims and real world data sources where we get actual uh, patient impacts and those are analyzed in the context. So yeah, I mean, when we say business analytics, it requires multiple aspects, and then subject matter expertise definitely comes handy because then you can really generate uh, really meaningful insights coming out of the data. Uh, Otherwise, for a normal statistician, it is just data. For a person with background in biotechnology or medicine or veterinary even, it adds a lot of perspective, and then the insights that you generate has some impact from that point of view.
Okay. So, Dr. Amish, if I understand it correctly, it's a more of a analysis of scientific viability and the commercial viability of the business. Is that my understanding correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. And
So
your
I mean, so when business decisions are made, there are two components of it. Earlier business decisions were made almost, I could say, or more than 90% on commercial viability perspective. Nowadays, the way industry is evolving, scientific and medical perspectives cannot be ignored. Like if you see, what is happening in the industry, that you know all the regulatory agencies, even in US, FDA, EMA, or across the world, any agency, they are emphasizing heavily on value-based outcome. It is not just numbers. It is not just forecast. It is not, even if you have got approval of a drug, does not mean that you will be successful as a drug manufacturer or as a marketer. It has to generate those kind of values, and that is where I think science and business have started to merge together. And in fact, this is the golden time of the merger because you know this is where the current trend lies, I would say.
okay. So, as you mentioned, like analytics is the one of the key skills, and along with that, having the domain knowledge and expertise will be a value addition. So, can you tell us like what are the are there any educational qualifications required to enter and to be successful in this kind of industry?
In the industry, I think one needs to have at least a graduation degree, uh, and then a good understanding of numbers. I think this is bare minimum required because when you're talking about data analytics, you need to deal with a lot of numbers, and one has to be quite comfortable with that. Even folks coming from biomedicine background, this is one thing that has to be there. And I think most of the courses nowadays they have courses like biostatistics, and those kind of they build foundational knowledge, but then one has to be comfortable and kind of good with those kind of skills.
Okay. So are there any, like, apart from graduation, are there any particular diplomas or degrees or post-graduation uh, programs which are required as a part of the qualification if somebody is looking for this kind of job?
They are not mandatory, I would say, if you have the skills. But if you're looking for a career in, big firms like, MBBs or even any good reputed firm, having a degree in analytics or most of the, reputed institutes nowadays, they offer, a diploma, postgraduate diploma courses in analytics. And even there are short-term, certifications as well. Depending on a person's ability to grasp things, they could be useful. Most of the IIMs have those kind of courses. Most universities have courses related to business analytics, the data analysis, data science, and stuff. So definitely, one could choose one of those, depending on various other factors, and get better prepared, for the industry needs. Yes.
Okay. So, having those kind of specialized certifications, degree diplomas, it would be a definitely a value addition for the candidate. But what I understand, it's not very mandatory. It's the basic domain knowledge and skill that should be sufficient to begin with in this kind of industry. So, when it comes to, like, educational qualifications, that is definitely part of the screening criteria. But apart from that, if somebody is entering in this kind of industry or this kind of career, what are the different skills that you should suggest that the candidate should have, or he or she should develop the particular set of skills? So, can you highlight those particular skills?
Definitely. I mean, talking of data analytics in pharma healthcare industry, I could divide into, say, three major buckets of kind of skill sets one should have. One is pharma domain knowledge. One should understand how pharma works. Um, and that would definitely be helpful when you generate insight from the numbers. So how pharma works means, there are clinical trials that need to happen before drugs are approved, and then it has to be backed up with, certain data which has to show desired safety, efficacy, and other patient reported outcomes. And then it gets approved by FDA, EMA, or if we talk of India, CDSCO. Uh, just approval is not enough, then it has to undergo reimbursement approval, it has to get incorporated into formulary, and so on. It's it's an entire ecosystem that one has to understand. Um, that is one. Second thing is one needs to understand different terminologies. So again, related to that. So when you understand the ecosystem, you will start to understand various terminologies. What are the endpoints? Like, when you face the data, those data will be categorized into that. Uh, Once we understand the terminologies, then we need to be really comfortable with data. It could be coming from many sources, it could be coming from claims, it could be coming from registries, it could be coming from clinical trials and whatnot. So one needs to be really skilled in handling data, and handling data itself, it could be, a subject to talk about, how do you deal with, different kind of noises versus actual data signals, missing numbers and stuff like that. And then comes you apply those things into a business perspectives. How does it fit with respect to forecast? Whether you might want to do forecast, and you need to understand the patient journey, you need to understand the epidemiology and all the nuances that would, kind of uh, feed into your forecast model and all, financial metrics. So yeah, these are, major buckets of kind of knowledge areas one should have, I would say.
So for the audience, if you're audience, if you're like interested to know more about how to handle this kind of data when it comes in managing various business decisions, if you're interested to know more about this, let me know in the comment section. And if you get sufficient number of comments and suggestions or inquiries, we will definitely plan a detailed tutorial on how to manage or how to do this data kind of data handling. We will go in more detail about on that particular topic. So coming back to today's session, I have one more question. You mentioned about the skills, but apart from this, are there any like technical or technology skills required or any kind of software knowledge that is required in this kind of career?
So if you go in more in kind of a hardcore data science direction, knowledge of uh, R, SPSS, and there are softwares it could be useful. SAS has been used quite a lot, but now I think people are shifting from SAS to other things like our BI tools. There are different BI tools that people have been using, like Tableau, Power BI, and stuff. So there are tools, and these softwares. If you talk about statistical direction, then there are tools from data gathering perspective. There are different databases where you need to extract the relevant data. So there are different websites where you could look at relevant data. For example, clinicaltrials.gov, where you could get extract a lot of data related to clinical trials designs and stuff. You could There are a lot of proprietary data sets from IQVIA, and various other vendors. So yeah, these are the sources one could look at.
So, as I understand, in this particular skill set or this kind of work, people are mainly working with like softwares or this kind of data. So, is there any role or significance of maybe some soft skills or interpersonal communication skill? Does this play any role in this kind of career?
Definitely it does, because this is a field where you require to interact with diverse stakeholders. You might need to interact with software programmers who would be developing a tool for you or kind of analyzing the data. You might also interact with business leaders, for example CEO and CFOs. You might Who might not so well versed with basics or kind of deep science, but then what is important to them is how is that impacting on business. And then you might interact with people who are deep into subject matter like politicians, regulators, and so on. So definitely communication skills and ability to articulate your understanding and kind of convey one kind of information to the other stakeholders is definitely one of the key soft skill one could have for sure.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh, for sharing that. Uh, so, uh, like many people are looking for different career opportunities in India, and they are also looking for this kind of opportunity outside India. But as per my understanding, what I see is that India has become like one of the leading service provider, particularly when it comes to supporting the major pharmaceutical companies across India, across the world. And uh, so, if somebody from India is interested to go into this kind of career, can you tell us what are the different career opportunities that one can take benefit of, particularly in India? What are the career opportunities?
So as yeah, what you mentioned is actually very true. A lot of companies, not only consulting companies who have their kind of support offices in India, but nowadays a lot of pharmaceutical companies as well. They are opening their offices. For example, BMS is opening a big facility in Hyderabad and Bangalore. We have Eli Lilly, which is kind of expanding its capability. Most of the pharma, if I say, they have started to think around this to have a knowledge center or consulting capability center within India offices. So these kind of opportunities are really growing, and in future we will see a lot of career opportunities on this. uh, Definitely data analytics, data science, they are the fields where, including competitive intelligence, they are going to pick up very soon.
So, Dr. Ramesh, so let me know if I understood this correctly or not. So earlier, these major pharmaceutical companies, they used to outsource their this kind of projects to some kind of consulting companies and firms. But now they are doing in-house. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's going to be mixed. I think what I see is, they don't want to completely, dependent on consulting companies for certain kind of insights. So what I see, the way trend is evolving, they would have some in-house team, as well as for certain specialized requirements, they would outsource to consulting firms as well. So it's going to be mix and hybrid, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. So, Dr. Ramesh, and what I understand till now is that this career opportunity is available and open for different streams or different specialty graduates. I want to ask you particularly about uh, any healthcare graduates or particularly biology science graduate students for this kind of medical graduates, is there any particular significance of this career, or they are being like treated as like other graduates, and the priority is on the analytic skills, or does this healthcare uh, graduation will help them?
No, it does help. Actually, in fact, I have seen there is a huge requirement for people who understand both side of it. Analytics, like pure statistics or computing skills, as well as people who know more of medicine or biology or life sciences. And depending on where one's knowledge area fits, for example, people coming from medicine background, MBBS and MDs, there are a lot of openings coming up in the field of medical affairs. And medical affairs has evolved tremendously in recent years. So it doesn't restrict to be talking to physicians, but it requires a lot of data analysis, all the insights that coming from physicians, analyze them, try to identify key themes which could drive drug development. Similarly, people coming from non-medicine life science background, again they are still having life science background helps them in a way that I have seen they are quite good in competitive intelligence research compared to I mean it's difficult to say ki, when we compare we cannot say one is better than other. Anyone can do anything, of course. I have really seen people coming with hardcore engineering background and doing extremely well in medical affairs. So then all those things does happen, but then it really makes life a little easy for life science graduate to uh, get easily adjusted into comparative intelligence, research, data analysis, and stuff. So again, it all depends on the knowledge thrust one has, like one wants to excel in the field and the efforts one puts into. So yeah, there are opportunities, and the background definitely helps.
So, Dr. Ramesh, I'm sure you must be interacting various freshers, you must be part of some recruitment drives. I want to ask you, like when you interact with this kind of fresher or new entrants, do you see any kind of limitations or any kind of challenges with this particularly freshers?
One thing what I expect from freshers is, to be able to connect dots and apply the knowledge. You know, that is one basic expectation, because other things, people learn slowly as their career evolves. But there is something kind of fundamental to one's way of thinking. So, what freshers should do, and while they are in college, they should learn to apply things. They should learn to think out of box and say, what are the areas those learnings could be applied, uh, and then connecting dots from different areas to be able to drive some insights and help in decision making. This is the most important thing I would say one should have at fresher level.
So, Dr. Ramesh, can you give us some idea, particularly for the starters or the freshers? Any, can you like give us some range for the salary, particularly for the freshers?
It's a difficult question because ranges are very high depending on what kind of companies you land into. Uh, so I would say it could start from 6 to 7 lakhs per annum, and I have seen young graduates also getting 20 plus lakhs per annum salary. So it really depends on how you deliver in your interview, what kind of skills and what kind of expertise uh, you know uh, you are able to show there.
Yeah. So what I understand, it's definitely a lucrative career opportunity. But I want to like know from you, like in specifically, like what are the future potential of data analytics as a career in India?
It is highly lucrative career, I would say, in one sentence. Uh, because, like I said, the salary ranges are high, but even I have seen people starting with lower salary range, and within a span of 3 to 5 years, their salary really jumped very high, depending on how quick they have been to learn, the nuances in the industry. So, uh, uh, the career opportunities are high. I mean, we can, as I have said, a lot of job opportunities are coming up. A lot of pharma companies as well as consulting companies, they are opening up their offices, and it is going to be something to look forward to. Definitely, it has a really bright outlook.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Thank you for sharing such valuable information and guidance to us. And I'm sure the listeners of this podcast will definitely get at least some direction if somebody is interested in business analytics career. And if you are somebody who wants to develop and grow your career in business analytics, you should focus on your passion and interest towards this industry, and you need to develop skills. And once you have those relevant skills and you can make some sense out of any kind of data, then I think definitely you will have a very bright career in this particular industry. So, if you have any particular questions related to developing your career in data analytics, particularly in healthcare industry, you can ask your questions in the comment section. And if you're also somebody already in working in this industry, you can share your experiences and your knowledge so that it helps the newcomers in the industry, and that guidance helps them to grow and be successful in this kind of industry. So that's all for today's session, and we will meet in another session for discussing another career opportunity with a new guest. And this is Dr. Nitin signing out. That's all. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, Dr. Ramesh. Thank you very much.